How's it going, guys? It's Ralph here from Beyond the Huddle, and welcome to this week's Bitcoin forecast. As always, we're going to get started with SMI. That's what you're seeing on your screen right here, which essentially tells us the sentiment for the entire all crypto spot exchanges. And then we're going to move on to the COT to see what the asset managers have been up to this past week. And we'll wrap it up with some volume profile analysis and price targets of potential support and what could potentially be resistance. So with that being said, guys, feel free to jump to any part of the video that you might be interested in. Make sure to give us a thumbs up, subscribe, and let's get started. Okay, guys, so starting here with the SMI, again, it's very important for us to understand that when the market was in distribution ever since mid-March, right here around the 14th or the 15th of March, the entire up move, we just wanted to be looking for potential reasons for us to take profit on our current trades, right? So we should have been accumulating when the market was dropping during mid-February and early March, which we did. And then, in coins like Zcash, there was some trades in XMR. And then in Solana, we spoke about that, although I did not take a position in that. But the point is that there were some positions we should have had been built up. And then during this rally here, the idea was, like I said last week, was that you wanted to see at one point in time, the distribution was going to be too much. And then the price was going to confirm it by breaking the weekly support, right? And we used our volume profile for that, right? Our BTH weekly value areas. And that happened right here. And that's when I spoke about in the group and even in the videos talking about, being bearish in the premium group. So we've been bearish ever since. And the reason is because obviously we keep bear trending on the value area, but we'll go over more of that soon. So the first step to get back to being buyers is you want to see accumulation, right? And the idea is that the accumulation is sort of like a little bit of buying, but not strong enough and overwhelming enough for it to actually convince me to be aggressive in my trades, right? So you can see right here, the market drops, and as it drops, you're obviously going to see people trying to catch a falling knife. Now, the idea is that you want to catch the falling knife when it's extreme enough, right? When too many people have tried to catch the falling knife, and then now they're starting to hurt. Well, that's when the strong accumulation comes in, and you can see right here, as they're trying to catch the falling knife, there is a slight rally, and then they go back to neutral, right? So that slight rally, the buyers see, and then they start to think that, oh, maybe this wasn't the right buy, and then they start to sell, right? That's what turns it back to neutral. So during that selling, then we start accumulating again, and look at that, it leads to another rally. But these are not the type of rallies I'm interested in. If you're maybe a day trader, sure, but I'm a swing trader and position trader. So what I'm interested in, like I've mentioned before, if we go here to charts, the one I'm interested in is this one right here. If I could find it. The one I'm interested in is this type of, there we go. This is what I'm interested in, right? When it's super strong accumulation, right? So when it's strong accumulation, I know there's a lot of people betting that the market will, there's too much buying, right? So when there's too much buying, then all you have to do is break your resistance, and then boom, the price will rally up, and then of course you'll start selling off again, and then the price will find some strong resistance. And I pinned this in the group because it's such an important concept to understand, right? Why make decisions when the market is in green? Yeah, you see right here, the accumulation went higher, and that's fine if you want to short-term trade it, but you need to understand that that might not lead to too much, right? So there was accumulation, and then it turned to distribution right there for 2 bars, and that led to the high, right? But the one you definitely don't want to be doing is buying during distribution. Can prices go up during distribution? Of course, right? You can see right here it went up quite a bit, but you should already have had the positions, like I mentioned earlier in this video, during this part in time. So with that being said, at the moment, guys, we're not really looking for any to actually deploy any amount of cash into the market right now, but we should be looking at our value areas and our price action tools in order to see what type of coins are going to outperform the market. So Bitcoin and Ethereum, that's the key right here, right? If they're not going to outperform Bitcoin, why even bother? Just hold Bitcoin. And if you can find one that's going to outperform Ethereum, then great, good for you. You get, extra profits right there. So with that being said, again, it's looking nice. We're at least not in distribution, which means we could potentially take some trades, but I'm not going to get aggressive, and I don't have any trades right now, but I'm not going to get aggressive until strong accumulation. And again, this is just one part of the sauce. you can't just buy because there's accumulation. You have to see what price is saying, right? And I'll show you guys that in just a little bit. But before we get to the price, let's go ahead and talk about the COT. Okay, guys, so moving on to the COT for the asset managers. We can see that they actually declined their longs by 138 contracts and they increased their shorts by 21 contracts. But as you guys have seen, the one thing that's super important here that I keep talking about every single week is that, yeah, you might have gone down 138 contracts, but you're still overwhelmingly long. They're not afraid. They're still saying, hey, we believe the market's going to go higher. It's just a question of when, right? And to figure that out, we had to look at the shorts, and that means that we go back to our indicator right here. And it's funny, I drew out all this. You guys won't believe it. I actually had just recorded this section and the price action section, then somehow I deleted it. So here I am redoing it again, but it's fine. It's all good. I'll just redo it. But yeah, the point is, right here, we can see that the shorts, although it went up by 21 contracts, we're still below the average. And that's the key, guys. You know, the market is going to breathe a little bit sometimes, right? Just like this. But the key is that we want a sustained move below the average. And that means that we, you know, still maintain that these down candles are going to be ones that we should be buying. As long as this stays percentage net long and the shorts stay below the average. Let's take a quick look at the longs to see what that did. You know, the reduction in the contracts, and look at that. They're still above the average. We just came from an all-time high, so it kind of makes sense they might take a little bit of profit. So nothing has changed here in my bias for the COT. I'm still wildly bullish. This is still a buy the dip in my opinion. It was just a matter of this drop right here the past couple weeks. It was just a matter of the SMI cooling down, right, from distribution. It was super like a lot of selling, and now we're starting to cool down. So now is your time to, you know, make decisions to see if you do want to get into the market. So with that being said, let's move on to the price action part to see what potential levels of support or resistance we should be making decisions at. As you already saw a little bit there, because again, I had already recorded all this, but somehow I deleted it. So yeah, with that being said, let's move on to the volume profile and price action part of the video. Okay, guys, so let's see if I can re-say what I said earlier and make sure it's just as good. So essentially what I had in mind when I was doing the video earlier was that I wanted to show you guys what happens when the models get broken, right? So you can see right here that we talked about this last week actually, that when this week opened, and I was talking about this with the premium group right on Monday, because that's when this happened, that we were looking for this POC as resistance or this value or high. And obviously you can see now in hindsight it hit the POC perfectly. But the idea that what you really wanted to see, and what I told everyone, was that if we did go below the value or low, because remember, if you bear trend, that's what I like to call that, that's when the market is going to have thin liquidity. So you see these very like unilateral movements straight down, and then that would have been your target, and then it consolidates, right? Now, if you can't find any support, which we did see accumulation in that time, but guess what? We're not looking for accumulation. We're looking for strong accumulation. So that kind of led to a little bit of a consolidation, and then look what happens, right? It keeps moving unilaterally. So you're always going to have these aggressive moves when the market is bear trending. So again, we bear trended on that week right there, and now we can go back to we can hide this again. So let's go back to just one profile, because we just want to see last week's profile, right? So what I had earlier was that when this week opened right here, and then we know that that's this week because there is no profile right here. I have it hidden so it doesn't show me the current profile, because the current profile is constantly changing, right? That's what we always use the previous candles profile. So using that right there, the minute that you opened up, boom, straight bear trending. Again, we talked about this on our Monday premium video, that basically as long as you cannot go above this previous week's value area low, the market was going to keep trying to search for support levels that are lower. So if you're bearish on your weekly models, the question is, where are you going for in the higher time frame? Well, remember, our first target was these two right here, because if I was expecting the market to continue higher on a monthly and quarterly, then their value area highs would have been used as support, but they didn't, right? Because the weekly model never turned back bullish. So then that means that we're looking at this right here, which is the monthly value area low right there in blue, and then the monthly POC right here in this dotted line. Now, we did just miss that, and I think we're actually we might be setting up for something really interesting here, which is why I drew this out for you guys earlier, which is sort of like a move higher into the previous day's value area low, right? And then we're going to have to see, is it going to keep us bear trending? If it does, we're going to see a breakdown in structure here, and then we're going to have a move lower. Now, I'm hoping this move lower is aggressive enough to get the SMI into strong accumulation. And I don't mind if it's 1 bar or 2 bar. So during that down move, even if it's just a few bars of strong accumulation, that would be enough for me to want to take some aggressive positioning down here and then look for some upside. And again, why is it there? Because based on the COT and now the SMI has cooled off, I want to see my value area lows on the monthly time frames hold. If they start to bear trend, you saw what happened here already, right? When we broke the value area low 2 weeks ago, and you saw here what happened this week when you opened up, you bear trended again. Aggressive candles right there, aggressive candles right here, guys. You don't want to see what happens when your monthly bear trend. I mean, we sort of already did back down here. So you see this flush right here that happened back in November. That was a quarterly bear trending, and that's what you led to, you know, such an aggressive 40% drop in prices or whatever it was, right? So we don't want to see that type of price action again. So again, I'm hoping that we find some resistance here, then give us that one last pullback, so then we could, you know, be buyers in this market. Now, if we do reclaim this value area low, and then we, you know, by the end of the week we see prices move higher, even though we never hit strong accumulation in the SMI, you could argue that maybe you want to be, you know, trying to look for some positions in some coins, because obviously there's gonna, you know, Bitcoin goes up 1% or 0.5% or 3%, some coins are going to blow up for 25-50%. So if you do find those coins while they're, you know, because the SMI is at least not in, you know, distribution, it's in accumulation / neutral, then sure. But remember that when you take those trades, they're only, you know, there would only be short-term trades, because then the SMI would turn back to neutral or distribution, since it never hit strong distribution. Okay, so be very, very mindful. If Bitcoin does reclaim this level and doesn't break down as soon as it hits it, and then there's some moves to the upside, because again, the SMI never would have hit strong accumulation. So yeah, we'll keep an eye on this value area low. I'll keep you guys updated on the Discord group. If you guys want a link to that, there is one in the description below. It's completely free for you guys to join that part, where we talk about Ethereum and Bitcoin. And you know, in the premium chat, we do try to, you know, focus more on the altcoins, because we believe that buying altcoins, and if you can correctly predict when they will outperform Bitcoin or Ethereum, you can make, you know, a lot of money there. So with that being said, guys, I hope you found some value in this. If you did, please make sure to give us a thumbs up, share it, and stick around for tomorrow. Misha's going to be breaking down the COT on Ethereum, what, you know, changes happened there, which are very interesting, by the way. I'm sure he'll talk about Ethereum, and then I'll see you guys next week. Peace.